We're making a calendar, by the way, for
2020. Wow. I'll be the fall, so I'll be the teddy bear.
Hey,
February.
every single month they're holding a cigar. Dan's in this one, and it's a mystery where the cigar is at.
Good Lord. Good God.
The smile says it all.
Yeah, you had to pick a brown bear costume, didn't you?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm going from the way this is burning, the way it's wrapped. This is a pretty decent company. I'm going to go, it's older and an established cigar company.
Established, yes. One of the big, old companies. No, it's not. I mean, they're. I mean, I think they primarily came around in the cigar boom time.
Okay.
90s.
It just seems like whoever's putting this out, there's old world craftsmanship in this.
Surprisingly, not really. No, I mean they're a cigar boom company, so if you consider that old, but then the problem is you can't.
Who is working for them though? Is it somebody that's been in the business for a while? You know what I'm saying?
Kind of, yeah, kind of, yeah.
You're just burning a little weird over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one. Maybe it's that split.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say it because I think Seth will guess it, but I don't think he'll divulge what cigar this is. But
I have a guess of
the
what
guy,
it
is.
the guy that blended the cigar is no longer with this company. Don't give it away.
I won't.
That didn't necessarily help me.
No, Seth knows because.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm almost positive.
I'm pretty sure I have a good guess on it too.
But
no, we've had so many of these things.
It's killer.
It's one of my favorites.
Tell I'm a noob. I don't even know.
Well, the other important question is, having what we've had so far, what price realm do you think we're in? I won't divulge
13,
it.
14.
Yeah, I would say under 15.
Well, you know what it is. So. Well, we got one down. Seth knows what it is. I know he knows what it is. If we haven't guessed yet, Seth and I have had a few cigars together.
I don't know if I've had it
Just a
before.
couple.
I mean, I think I possibly have had it.
I think you have. You've had to have had this at least once. Not necessarily the size, but
Size matters now.
Absolutely.
Getting that yardstick back out, Dan. Getting that yardstick back out.
Why? Always. Why?
Hey, you were the one that said you're the only adult in the room.
Feels it sometimes.
I mean, I can't think of it, but it's definitely a good smoke.
Has it changed much for you?
A little spice, nothing crazy. Kind of like what I get on any Nicaraguan tobacco that I've ever smoked.
It's about where I started getting a little more spice to it. It's building a little.
But it's not overpowering. It's not like some of the other cigars. Like last week's cigar was just super spicy.
Yeah.
It's nicely balanced.
That one gave me almost tears because it was so spicy and it kind of burned.
Was that good, eh?
Gave
you tears?
Yeah, it gave me tears. This fly's trying to enjoy it with us too.
I don't know what's going on.
I think he's trying to get drunk.
We got a special guest here tonight. It's Ted the Fly.
Ted the Fly.
I apologize if there's anybody named Ted out there.
TED Talk.
Yeah.
Ted Talk.
It's copyrighted. You probably get careful with that.
Yeah.
Oh, free advertisement.
Come at me.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a sponsorship from La Colombe. And
right.
Come at me, TED Talks. Yeah, come get some. You and your scientists and your special people.
You and your words.
Yeah, your fancy words.
Very consistent, just like with you guys. I mean, yours because you're split. But yeah, this thing is
still
like...
not. I mean, he's
But
still got an ash hold
Yeah,
on.
he doesn't have bad off. It's not...
But it's off where I lit it poorly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I had the
So
same
had
thing.
I hit that, had I torched it all the way before I hit it, it would have been beautiful.
And again, that's...
But that quarter inch catches
to me,
up
that's the
and-
key of the whole process of choosing your cigar cutting. picking it out, lighting it, toasting it. I think it makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that there can't be some, issues with the way it was rolled or moisture or any of those things.
Or
But
if you're on a boat fishing, it's going to burn a little different.
I mean, 3 of 4 are burning perfectly even.
But just
And
shows.
it's not a heavy, like what we would call like a canoeing or anything, to where you want to take a torch out and
This is a little uneven.
torch that down.
I mean, it's like
In
even
a situation like that, you
even
can
the ash is
rotate
hanging
them.
on too.
Yeah.
Even with the uneven burn.
Let me ask you this question: do you guys rotate your cigars when you set them down?
If I see something like that, I usually put the when it's got the
Unburned
less
side
burn
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Convection.
scientific heat rises.
Yeah.
That's generally what they say. Do I see it make a difference most of the time? Not
No.
really.
Yeah.
You got to touch it. Unfortunately, I've never seen it like, oh my god, this evened out completely.
If you
Occasionally,
purge it pretty good, I'm not going to do it now, but once I ash, it usually helps correct it quite a bit.
And we get a little bit
Unless
of a
you
hint of
have
woodsy.
An
We get a little
off-center
hint of woodsy on it. No.
filler.
Yep.
well, woodsy, like earthy woodsy.
Not like a hardcore earthy woodsy. Kind of the aroma.
That's one of those hard ones to get into. Almost woodsy. It's
It
like you can
is.
have like wet leaves or like fresh grass or like
Or like forest
yeah,
floor.
forest floor
Or
It's
like
more
fresh
like-
cut wood.
It's
or-
more fresh cut wood. I just can't
Yeah, I can
pinpoint
see
what
that.
I get. It's very smooth and subtle, but you get a little bit of it.
Oh, fresh out of the
as
box,
a-
it's huge. Like you can smell the cedar
Yeah,
coming
these
out of the
haven't.
box.
How long have these been out of the box? Since you packed?
I took these out of a fresh box and took the mans off today.
So it gave a little bit of time.
And
for it
then,
to
well, but
breathe.
then I put them in a bag and put them back in the humidor because they do come on cellophane. So I want to keep that kind of fresh out of the box flavor, there. Which
I had some coffee. Like a black bitter.
Yeah, as it's building, that's when I got that spice, and this is kind of helping counteract that a little bit. But I'm getting that too, and I would love to purge it just to go through that cycle
Yeah.
see what
again.
happens.
We'll get
You
there.
know,
I don't remember who said it, but there was some cigar roller, master roller, it's one of the cigar makers. They're like, I don't know if you told me this or something, but they're like, if you, any cigar, if you, burns out or whatever, ash it, purge it, it'll taste like how it was supposed to taste to begin with. Which I don't necessarily agree with if it's burned out, 7 times. You relit it 7
I
times.
relight
but-
cigars all the time, and is it a fresh one? No, but you know
Is
what
it
I mean.
bad? Not
No,
necessarily.
I don't think so either. I wouldn't let it sit for a day necessarily, but
Not anymore.
Yeah. I love when
Learn
people.
that the hard
I
way.
love when people say, I'm gonna smoke this cigar and let it sit out on the porch until tomorrow.
So-
I'm like,
So what is?
why?
So
Why?
let's say you light a cigar, because there's always that type of ideas out there. Everyone's got their own different mixture. If I were to cut this, let's say grab a guillotine cutter and just cut this off, purge it. How long after should I relight it and then go back?
Hang on.
I heard that.
You hear that? I heard a little, little
I
crackle.
thought your ash fell off. That's why I paused there for a
No.
second.
No, I heard something.
I am getting right
so-
now. I'm getting dill.
Like a vinegary? Dill?
No,
No,
no
just like
vinegar.
the
the
herb.
real fresh herb dill.
I'm sorry, Dan. I heard that and I completely lost what you're asking me.
So if I were to purge it, cut it, how long
I'm not
after
interesting.
would you want to light it again?
I mean,
What's the length
That's
of time?
not. It's not ideal. I mean, honestly, you could do it the next day, but sitting with that, you still get that stale smell and taste. And then it's sitting in a bag, all sealed up. It's just. It's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It really isn't. And it does a lot for, people that are like, I only smoke a quarter of this, so I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a bag? I'm like, I do, but you're going to want to cut that and blow all the smoke out. Because if you don't blow the smoke out, then it's
It's
really,
getting really,
really
stale.
gross.
oh,
yeah.
it's gross.
Yeah, it's gonna taste like an ashtray.
So
It'll
I've heard-
taste funky at first.
There's
That was
no,
one of the
there's
things
no way to
that-
counteract that either.
No, and because it's already into the leaves and the
Yeah.
tobacco roll.
Yeah, it
so,
already has nicotine in it.
Yep. So it was like when I first started, everyone was like 2 hours. You don't want max. Like that's something you want to do max. But I guess it would be a preference.
It is. And you know what? Look, ultimately we could say things all day long. This is how you should do this. They should look if you want to smoke half a cigar, cut it, purge it, put it in a bag, and smoke it tomorrow, and you enjoy that. Have at it. It's what you enjoy. You know.
I'm getting heavy Dill on this.
Yeah, I am not.
I don't know
But
if I
that's
see that.
interesting.
I'm not. I'm getting very woods, like a very nice fresh cut wood.
I
That
could,
you just like, you know how when they kind of like do the engraving on it, maybe burn into it, just engrave. It's just a very nice subtle hint of wood.
When on your exhale, a couple times I've gotten just like fresh burnt leaves too. You know, just that real nice fall.
That nose on
yeah,
there.
blow that over here.
It's a different leaf review. Blow it in my face.
I say we take a stab. Adam, what do you think?
I'm thinking it's
I don't think that's a lot to guess.
He'll be last.
I don't think you should guess at all.
I think it's a Padron. That's what I think it is.
I'm thinking leaning towards a Monte Cristo of some sort,
Wait, what
That's
did you say?
just me.
Just a Maduro?
like a Padron.
Company.
Padron.
Padron?
Mhm.
Oh, Padron. Monte Cristo.
I'm thinking Monte Cristo. It just, to me, I mean, Nicaraguan tobacco hits me and hits that. Padron, but it doesn't have that spice and feel like a Padron. To me.
Seth, what is it?
Are we ready?
I guess.
Liga number 9 Robusto.
Bingo.
Wow.
Wow.
That's where the cocoa.
I
Okay,
know
that
that's
makes
I've
sense.
smoked a lot of these.
I will
Minute
tell you
picked it
what,
up, it was-
I've had a few of these.
Such an interesting. I've had a bunch of them, and such an interesting. You know, you get in your head when you're smoking this, and you start, you know, second guessing where you're at with your old favorites. You know, and really interesting because I'm going think outside of the box. Where you know, what is this? Good smoke.
Well, it's funny how taking the band off plays with your head so much.
Yeah.
I mean, the color looks different. The
Yeah, we've
smell's
talked about that
different.
when you set it
The-
down and then you go, where's my cigar? And you go to grab it and you're like, is that my cigar? You're like, really? You know?
It's always been a great smoke, but I would never have leaned towards that. And I have had quite a few of those number 9s.
It's the joy of the blind taste, though.
Well, him and I have done it before, and there's a lot of cigars where I'm like, I smoke with the band on. I get this mindset of, this really isn't for me. And he's grabbed a couple when we've done it. Like, we'll take turns, and you get 3 guesses. You can ask certain questions, you know, what country of origin, build, that kind of stuff. Unless it really gives it away, like it's really unique wrap or something, then, you know, we don't do that. But
I mean, just the ash on this thing.
So give us the
remember-
breakdown on this.
I took a couple notes because I want to be particularly words. The wrapper, Connecticut, broadleaf, Oscuro. I think it was a number
Oscuro.
1.
Oh.
Oh, party!
I was the last one. I was the last one. I should have cheated.
You're the asshole this week.
I'm the asshole. Let's see. Can I pick it up?
I'm sure you can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
it's
And it's
solid.
still intact.
That was the
No,
first
so
asshole.
wrapper, Connecticut broadleaf. I think it was a number 1 Oscuro. The binder was a Brazilian Mata Fina. And the filler, which surprised me because I don't know if I ever actually looked up the true build of the cigar. From what I was reading, Honduran and Nicaraguan Cuban seed. I would have never guessed the Honduran in there. Not with Drew Estate. I figured it would have been a full Nicaraguan filler, but that's what I read.
Interesting.
I think the Honduran is what, you know, both Cuban seed, obviously. I think that's what adds that. The Nicaraguan, big, bold, spicy. The Honduran, not so much. You know, like we saw at the CLE we did first. That Connecticut Honduran tobacco. A little softer, a little easier. I think that plays on. No, I don't know the age on this either. I'm sure the age.
Purging that thing takes you right back to some cocoa in the beginning, and then goes right back to woodsy and the pepper. It just purging it when you guys get a chance. That's
Purging always, for me, on my cigars, it does. It refreshes all those new, nuanced flavors, you know. I enjoy both, but there's certain times, certain cigars, you get a flavor that maybe it's a little too spicy, or maybe it's a little, or you come across a flavor and you're like, what was that? And I like to purge it and go through all that whole roll again.
I think we should too. I mean, we talk about purge, but I don't know if we ever talk about what it is. It's cigars for dummies. What is a purge? Purge is, you can do it at the beginning of the cigar.
Right.
Oh!
Yes! It is
First
water!
one!
Woo!
Oh, man!
Bravo.
I was all worried about that the one time, and you are the first one that managed to do it.
Well, we gotta drink it.
Yeah, you gotta chug it now.
Well, that was the first ashful, and now you're the
Ash tea.
You're the you got your ash in the water. You got a wet ash.
That is fantastic.
Well, now I can purge.
But it's still intact.
Yeah.
It's still intact.
It's intact
It's still
in the water.
Did you hear it sizzle?
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
As soon as I heard the sizzle, I was like, "You went in the water."
I don't know.
That's the
I
best.
think something I need to keep going to see if any of us actually get an ash in the ashtray at this point.
Yeah. I am about 0 for 6 for the night. So
Good thing you don't play sports. No, but back to the purge. You're beginning after light, and it's just blowing through the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Just blowing
Clearing
all that.
it out.
Clearing out.
Fresh air.
Straight through, just blow out the cigar.
So what are you exactly when you purge? What are you trying to blow out? You're getting rid of that overwhelming nicotine, the tar, and
Kind of. I mean, that
burns
obviously
off a little
a
accumulated.
little bit. It helps kind of spread that out a little bit, but primarily you're just trying to get the old smoke out.
Yeah.
You're trying to get that, because you accumulate that all towards the end, and that's why they tend to build, and it really freshens up the cigar. I try to do it every time, I ash, but does it happen every time? No, it doesn't.
And I find it prevents a really heavy,
Ooh,
nasty buildup at the end.
I'm
You
scared.
can keep
when
cigar pretty clean.
when it's
Well, you don't
hot.
have your water over your line.
No,
of
not this
fire.
time, because I didn't want to do that. I was worried about that the first episode.
I agree with that. When it starts getting warm down towards the end, I'll purge.
Yeah, it does help.
And
It cools it
mine,
down.
Mine just split down right where you lip it, so it's getting warmer down there. So I think that's primarily because
And that's,
of the
the
wrapper being
What I was
dry.
talking about that, this is a brittle wrapper. It's a Connecticut broadleaf. They're brittle. They are brittle.
Mm-hmm.
So when you purged yours, what'd you get? Went back to it.
A lot of the same. More of that cocoa, more of that fresh cocoa powder. But there's something going on with my coffee that has given me still that dill flavor.
It's interesting. I
Yeah.
don't see it at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Wash
know.
your cup lately?
I think that this is doing it. Yeah.
You have potato
I
salad in there before?
make pickles in there.
Yeah,
Let's-
so earlier tonight I had potato salad.
Let's talk
in
about
here.
your cup here. Everyone asks.
Oh yeah, the old snake mug. We were at my wife now, and I were at a wedding in Texas, and I came across this at I'm sure a souvenir shop kind of thing, and there used to be a show on called Craig Ferguson, Late Night with Craig Ferguson, and he had this mug, and I'm like, I've got to get it. It's great. It has a very large base, so it's very sturdy. It holds just a ton of coffee, and it's fun. It's a nice little conversation piece.
So it looks like the outside, the way the fixture of that is, the inside replicates that.
Correct. It undulates on the interior. It's hard to get the last couple sips.
I bet
But,
it's real fun to clean, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you gotta make pickles.
Cleans the taste right out.
And adds dill later.
I also did a blend of a dark French roast and Colombian mix, so this is a pretty heavy, dark cup of coffee. I mean, this is cowboy coffee at
Sounds
its
awesome.
best. And with that little bit of grind in it, it really sets it
Wow. In the ass.
Wow.
Hey!
Wow.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, okay.
It's that uneven burn.
Mm-hmm.
Seth,
Legend him
finally.
in.
We were the first one last
And
time.
second.
And
Or no, yeah, first and second.
yeah.
Yeah.
Episodes.
I think we're gonna have to keep like a running tally.
Karma, baby.
We can always recap. the videos. That's interesting.
End of the year countdown.
Yeah, do a countdown.
Well, this is fun, gentlemen. I enjoyed the blind.
Yeah.
Definitely let my mind play tricks on me. Instead of going with what I should have known, I went with,
Opposite.
overthinking it.
Mm-hmm.
I still second guess. I mean, I was pretty damn sure I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But there's always that chance. I've been
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
confident before.
It's just one of those cigars. This is the same every single time. It never
It
deviates.
is.
Every single one of these is the same, no matter if you bought it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, this year, next year. It's the same.
And it's crazy how you get that very nice cocoa flavor with it, the smoothness, everything blending together. I mean, and we all got one guy at smoke season. He's like, I don't know how they get the cocoa in it. And it's just how the leaves are and the blending going
Right.
together. It's
Right.
it's
Yeah.
really good.
It's tough to cigars. It's tough with anybody coming in the humidor. It's like people come on. I'm looking for vanilla. Or I'm looking for this. I'm like,
And is it the same on everybody's palate?
it
you
isn't.
know?
No, it really isn't. And
Yeah, none of us got dill.
Yeah, well, we talked about it a little bit last week, where you get that old factory, especially with that retro inhale and whatever else you're mixing that with, and you get that little sharp, sometimes I only get it once in a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'll even have that cigar again and I just won't get it, and,
I feel like every cigar has that like Kodak moment,
Yeah.
where there's
That
this
pop
part of it where
flavor.
you're just like,
yeah,
this is perfect.
Yeah,
this
just-
is it.
this is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because there's these nuances of flavors that I'm getting out of it. Yeah,
This has been good.
yeah.
So next week, what are we thinking for?
I don't know.
We'll
What
definitely.
about those sun-growns?
Oh yeah, we got the Perdomo, the naturals, the
Yeah,
lot 23.
Lot 23.
We'll do that, and we'll have our buddy Cliff on here with us
Mhm.
too. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Little guest
We'll have
appearance.
to figure out. He'll probably sit between you two.
He probably should.
It'd be
Keep them
fitting.
isolated.
Keep him in line.
The two biggest guys, keep
Yeah.
them. Keep them.
I don't think we're not going to scooch over either. He has to sit right
Yeah, he's gonna be at the back.
Well, he's small enough to
Just
sit
Peanut-
kinda-
peanut
just
gallery
kinda
back there.
peeking in.
Yeah.
and make him feel important, like he's got two bouncers on each side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
He's gonna be mouthing off to you like crazy.
Yeah. Go learn a lot about Dan next week.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know if we can end until.
I know we can get a few more minutes.
Man, we
I
just.
don't know. If
sit here.
Seth gets the
Get
whole
there.
thing, I swear to God, it's like, oh yeah, this isn't burning too well, and he's the last one here hanging on.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautifully
it's surprising.
imperfect.
It's still kind of running a smidge in that one spot.
Got a lot of
Because I
crookedness going
can't
on
purge
there.
it yet.
I'm telling you on that retro, I'm still getting dill.
I get a light floral.
Yeah. And I mean, and when I'm saying dill, I mean, when that dill does flower and you get that light green, not the heavy dill that you would get like in a cooking, application where it's just using the, frond. I get that the flower of the dill,
Okay, well that's something I'm not familiar
Yeah, I don't
with.
think
Yeah.
I've
So,
ever
yeah.
smelled that.
I've never grown dill to get to that point.
So our next review is going to be in a garden.
Yep.
Yep.
In a greenhouse.
We're gonna bring herbs for everybody in a flavor wheel.
That would be
Scratch
fun.
and
though.
sniff.
Yeah.
Smell.
So next week,
Lot 23.
Lot 23.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about that cigar.
Oh, I love it. I had to buy more because it's like one of those things. It's just it's not heavy. It is more light, but it is just the amount of flavoring that comes out of it is just it's insane.
I think, that cigar too, it's not Perdomo's upper end. It's not necessarily the lower end, but it's a value cigar. It's a great value.
I mean, price point. I've spent anywhere from the $7 range to the $8 range on it. Maybe even $9 if you're in certain areas. But it's a great smoke. Everything about it and the flavor and how it hits your palate is just like it's wow.
Yeah, think about it. This cigar, it's probably it's the most expensive one we've done so far. I think it ranges anywhere 12. Honestly, you could see at 18 because legals
Depending on where you
are
are.
so hard to get. So hard to get. and keeping consistent, like Robusto. Robusto is probably the most popular. Number 9 Robusto is the most popular size. They're
Oh, we fly through them.
few and far between, finding them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is. I like it. I like the blind feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, you don't get any prejudgment to it. Going, oh, I've had this before, and you get that whole recap of what you've visited the first time or first few times you smoked it. This is it's cool. It's nice. It definitely is. I would definitely suggest this for even friends just sitting around.
Yeah, the blind.
Yeah, going to the blind.
I've smoked a million of those, and that kind of blew me away.
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely knew it was Nicaraguan in there.
Mm-hmm.
That had that Nicaraguan tobacco flavoring and taste and feel. But I would never have thought a Liga number 9.
Well, we got some good different guesses though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we covered Padron and Monte Cristo. Although, Monte Cristo has some Nicaraguan. They're primarily Dominican, but
Well, like the
Nicaraguan series is Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan series has that cocoa, and that's really what drove me to that. I was thinking Monte Cristo Nicaraguan series because it had that predominant like cocoa flavoring to it, mixed and blended with the rest, and that's why I lean towards the Monte Cristo. Padron, you have the Nicaraguan, it leans more towards the spice end of the cap.
I think it depends with Padron what you get into too. There's the kind of the Coraline and the 64s, which are my favorite. 26s.
And I thought that's what he was doing, was kind of throwing us a curveball, and that's why I was really getting in my head with it.
Finally.
Finally! Not in the ashtray!
Well, I went first.
2 tables, 1 ashtray, 1 glass of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can finally purge.
It's a good mix. When you purge, when you get that, let us know what you feel. Does it recap
I feel
back? Does it take you back to the beginning like all of the rest of us too?
It's definitely different.
Well, he made it considerably further than the rest of us.
You made it
Yeah,
quite a ways.
mine is built quite a bit. So this is, the flavors are, they're very similar, but they're nuanced. I'm still getting that green.
That's why I said on the body, I said, I don't say full for this. It's like a medium plus.
Yeah, it's, I don't think this is a very heavy style hitter. I wouldn't have thought it being a Maduro. It has a darker wrapper. That's why I really went to Monte Cristo on top of it, is because the Monte Cristo Nicaraguan series has a dark wrap.
Yeah.
It's not a Maduro wrap, but it's dark. And that cocoa flavor. I would never have thought this to be a Maduro in that sense.
Honestly, technically, I don't really think it is technically a Maduro, really. The Connecticut broadleaf Oscuro, it's dark.
So it just gives you that idea like it would be a Maduro because... So that's kind of another thing that is when you go into cigars, you can't just base off the color of the exterior. It could be completely different.
As I tell people, generally you can base it. Generally lighter color, more mild. Generally darker, more formal. It's not necessarily always true, but
some of those sungrounds can be on the
can.
lighter compared to a Maduro, but they can pack a punch.
Yeah.
Yep.